Speed up coming through here, boy. Crashed out. He's trying to get up out of here. Crashed out right here.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Duke and this is the CRASHEDOUT2022 channel, where we will be discovering crimes and cases that's going on in America with individuals who are crashing out. Basically, a person who crashed out, somebody who lost hope, and whoever around them is a victim. So, with that being said, with this channel, we like to pray for those people who lost businesses and jobs, because that's the recipe for crashing out. And we also would like to pray for those people who are directly affected by the people who lost jobs and businesses, because that's the recipe for crashing out. You know, the people that's, you know, dependent on the people with those jobs and businesses. We also want to pray for those people who are who went to sleep hungry last night, who woke up hungry, and who will go to sleep tonight hungry. We want to pray for those people, because starving, being hungry is a recipe for crashing out. And we also want to pray for those people who lost loved ones. It could have been last year, last month, last second. We want to pray for those people, because in this time of this day and age that we're living in nowadays, we only have a certain amount of people a few people who really love us and really care for us truly. And when we lose those people, it's like we're alone in this world. So we also want to pray for those people who lost loved ones, because that's a recipe for crashing out. And we want to thank God Almighty for this day. And with that being said, today we have a video for you guys. This is a story that's coming out of Syracuse, New York. A 23-year-old young lady crashed out. She crashed out and she ended up stabbing, torturing, and murdering a 93-year-old woman who was living in an apartment, which to find out that she ended up living in the same apartment with the dead woman for 3 weeks. So let's check this out.
She was murdered in her Skyline apartment on James Street, and though police found her body last Wednesday, she was killed 3 weeks before that.
23-year-old Victoria Afet has been charged with her murder, pleading not guilty last night, but that wasn't her first time in court. News Channel 9's Julia LeBlanc is joining us now live outside the Public Safety Building. Good morning, Julia. Afet has had many run-ins with the law, right?
She certainly has, Dan and Nicole. Afet comes with a rap sheet that is painfully long, with 10 arrests in just the last year, some of those violent offenses. But the most disturbing thing that we're learning here is that just 8 days before Connie Tuori was allegedly murdered in her apartment by Afet, we're told that Afet committed a strong-arm robbery of a 74-year-old woman in that same apartment complex. Now, the judge in that case, the strong-arm robbery, released Afet without bail. That's something that the DA and police are now questioning. As for the murder of Connie Tuori, police say that Afet was on camera following her into her apartment at Skyline. They believe Afet killed Tuori and then began living in that apartment using her keys. So the question now becomes, as a repeat offender, why was Afet out on the streets 24 hours after the strong-arm robbery?
Police, we are a very important part of the criminal justice system, and this is not to point a finger at any one piece of our justice system, but when you look at the activity of this individual, the types of crime that she was committing, and the fact that she was on the street, I think that we all have to take a look to see how we could possibly make opportunities for improvement.
In that strong-arm robbery happening just 8 days before Tuori's death, the DA's office asked the judge to set bail at $50,000, but Afet was released without bail less than 24 hours after that offense.
So yeah, man, so it's crazy. If you don't listen to that story and think to yourself that that young lady crashed out. I don't know what kind of world you living in. That young lady crashed out, and it's sad to say that she don't have anyone who love her, nobody to hug her, nobody around. Because if it's somebody in her life, she wouldn't be doing that. Somebody will be holding her accountable, or for her actions or her whereabouts, or her you know what I'm saying, what she doing on a daily basis. If nobody is nobody holding her accountable for her actions, this is the type of stuff that happens. People are crashing out. She's 23 years old. So at 23 years old, you feel like you don't have nothing to offer this world. You feel like you don't have nothing that's in you that's positive enough for you to, try to do something positive with yourself. That's the definition of crashing out. So this right here, let's listen to this. This is we about to find out why the judge released her.
Complex continues to raise questions about why the suspect was released from jail days prior to the crime. Tonight, we have a new and exclusive insight into that decision to let 23-year-old Victoria Afet, despite a years-long criminal history, including violent altercations, out of jail without setting bail. Mary Keeler obtained the courtroom transcript of Ms. Afet's arraignment just days before police say she murdered Connie Tuori. Mary joins us live in Syracuse tonight. Mary?
Well, Matt, this 8-page court transcript is giving us our first glimpse into what that virtual courtroom appearance looked like back on Friday, February 19th. Victoria Afet was released without bail that day. Then we know that she didn't show up to a scheduled court appearance that following Thursday, and a week from when this arraignment happened in February, police say she murdered Connie Tuori, 93-year-old Connie Tuori, in her Skyline apartment. The judge presiding over this case, listed as the court on this transcript, was Syracuse City Court Judge Felicia Pitts Davis. The transcript I obtained reveals Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick's daughter, Sarah Fitzpatrick, was the prosecutor. Robert Coville was assigned to represent Victoria Afet on charges of robbery and larceny for, quote, forcibly grabbing $38 in cash from a victim.
They doing these strong arm robberies, and they doing these heinous crimes for absolutely nothing. That is a mentality of somebody who are crashing out. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand what is going on in the minds of these American people. I don't know if it's the pandemic that hit and people are, don't know which way to go or confused. But your life can be taken over $40. Just want y'all to pay attention, man, what's going on out here.
It was a virtual appearance lasting only minutes, with a brief recess for the assigned lawyer to talk to Afet. The transcript is just 8 pages long, but we felt it necessary to fact-check statements from the district attorney himself on March 25th. DA Fitzpatrick saying his office asked for $50,000 bail, but the judge granted no bail.
What is distressing to me is that from 50 to 0 indicates that one of us was seriously wrong. And I think we now know who it was that was wrong. I have not criticized any judge during my comments today. The only thing I gave you were the facts. What you do with facts as a reporter is certainly up to you.
Page 6 reveals prosecutor Sarah Fitzpatrick requested bail in the form of $15,000 cash, $30,000 bond, and $50,000 partially secured bond. She cites an unrelated but still pending assault second case from August. Afet's lawyer responds, quote, I think that pretrial release would be able to help her, keep her on track, and would be the appropriate way to go with this case, Judge, adding, quote, She has services at the rescue mission to help her keep in contact with pretrial release judge. The rescue mission can't confirm if Afet lived there or not, or if she was receiving any services based on client confidentiality rules. Judge Pitts-Davis concludes, quote,
"It is so crazy because at a release mission, a rescue mission, that's like a shelter of some sort, you know. And it's like she's 23 years old, and she can't even go to her parents or her aunties or uncles or nobody in her family to ask for $40. She has nobody to ask for a place to stay. She has nobody to help her with food. She has nobody to help her with clothes. She has nobody to help her, period. At 23 years old, you do not have the world figured out. You still need help. You know? And it's sad. These stories that I'm bringing you are sad, man. Because a 93-year-old woman could have still been alive today. You know?
I was going to do a pretrial release in this matter, meaning no bail, and Afet was set free. A source familiar with this case tells me the judge had Afet's criminal history in front of her and still made the decision to release her. Afet was arrested at least 10 times in the last year. Now she is behind bars facing a first-degree murder.
How can you get arrested 10 times in a year? Like how? You know, how are you getting arrested 10 times in a year? Like,
charge for the death of 93-year-old
it's
Connie
something
Tuori.
going on, man. Something going on.
And I have reached out to that lawyer that represented Victoria Afet in that February 19th arraignment. I also reached out to the judge, the city court judge, Felicia Pitts-Davis, that presided over this case. The administrative judge previously telling us that ethically she's not able to comment on any pending cases. Live in Syracuse.
Crazy, man. Now let's listen to the defense attorney. The defense attorney basically describing the case that's going on. He said it's super rare for a torture murder charge. Now let's listen to what he got to say.
This fits.
The proof allegedly will show that there was torture to Connie, and based on statements that the defendant made, which I won't go into, we believe we can meet that element of enjoyment to a jury.
This is going to be very difficult, I'd imagine, for 12 people. If we get to a jury trial in this case, this is going to be very difficult for these people to hear.
Yes, let's take as a given that all homicides are difficult, particularly involving children and the elderly, the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of our age. All homicides are difficult. They're very difficult for the families to have to sit and listen to. I oftentimes will truthfully tell a victim's family that, you know, the victim died quickly or did not suffer. I couldn't do that in this particular case. I had to get Connie's family prepared for the details of this indictment ahead of time, and they're a strong group.
And the mentality that you have to live in the same apartment as a dead person that's in the same apartment with you. You living for 3 weeks in an apartment that has a dead body in it. What type of mentality do you have to go through that? That is trauma. To live in the same apartment for 3 weeks as in the same apartment with the person that you murdered, strangled, tortured. You living in that same apartment for 3 weeks. That's sick.
Torture, murder, does adding that torture element do anything to potential punishment? What's
No.
the value from a prosecutorial standpoint for adding and using that torture vein in this?
Well, the value is it speaks the truth of what happened. That's the most important thing. I have an expression that I use that the lawyer in a criminal case who tells the best story will usually win the case. And the story of Connie has to be told. And indictment number 1, the first count of this indictment, I should say not the indictment, but the first count of the indictment, tells the story of how Connie died. You are correct, though, that it doesn't enhance the punishment because the punishment is life without parole.
The district attorney says the evidence in this case will include the decomposed body of the victim. Her remains went undiscovered for almost 20 days. And statements made by suspect Victoria Afet that he says will indicate a level of enjoyment in carrying out the grisly crime.
Enjoyment. Hold on, man. Dude just said, hold on, man. Decomposed body, bruh. Listen to what he just said.
Include the decomposed body of the victim. Her remains went undiscovered for almost 20 days. And
a decomposing body for 20 days. Can you imagine the smell? Could you imagine the things a body go through when the soul leaves it? Can you imagine being around that? And let's keep listening to what he said.
In statements made by suspect Victoria Afet that he says will indicate a level of enjoyment in carrying out the grisly.
She enjoyed the statements that she made, gave the detective the notion of she enjoyed what she did. Now, if you not understanding what's going on, man, there is a demonic spirit that is reaching people who are at the lowest vibration of their selves. And these spirits are attaching like leeches unto these people. Their souls are not who you think it should be. There's people walking around amongst us that are not human. There's bodies walking around amongst us who are not human. I want y'all to understand this, what I'm saying. It is not human. There are spiritual wars going on this planet. And if you are at a low vibration, these demonic spirits will attach to you and feed like a leech. You have to get right with a higher vibration. You have to attach yourselves to a higher vibration. She's 23 years old, man. And before I move on any further, I would like to take this time to pray for Connie's soul, man. She did not deserve to die the way she died. Excuse me. She did not deserve to be murdered the way she was murdered. I want to pray for her soul. I also want to pray for her family. 93 years old, man. Just imagine, man. Most of us can't even imagine living to 93 years old, man. She made it just to end up being done that way. And I also want to pray for Victoria's soul. I also want to pray for Victoria's family. Because the only way that these things can be changed and healed is with a higher vibration. We have to change the mindset. We have to change the way we eat. We have to change the way what we drink. We have to change what we consume. Not just, physically. I'm talking about mentally. We have to be aware what we are putting into our brains. And we have to be aware of what are we putting into our bodies. It is a spiritual war. Nobody is safe from. Nobody. Only way you can protect yourself is with a high vibration. Now this right here is Victoria's rap sheet. Let's check it out.
How was she let out of jail? It's a question many still ask in the case of a 23-year-old woman accused of murdering 93-year-old Connie Tuori at the Skyline Apartments in Syracuse. With a long list of arrests, some for violent attacks, the Onondaga County District Attorney and the Syracuse Police are wondering that too. News Channel 9's Ira St. Moran did some digging and found out even with current bail reform laws, keeping Victoria Afet in jail was an option.
23-year-old Victoria Afet had a number of run-ins with the law before being charged with murder and the death of 93-year-old Connie Tuori. District Attorney William Fitzpatrick listed her arrests by month.
Arrests in March, April, May, June, July, August, October of 2020.
And just last month, she was arrested a few times. On February 18th, she was taken into custody for the strong-arm robbery of a 74-year-old woman, also at Skyline Apartments. The DA said she bit the woman, and that's why he wanted her bail set at $50,000, but she was released back on the streets.
The judge, under the new bail law, has the authority to set bail. That's why we asked for $50,000 bail.
Fitzpatrick is referring to Section 510.10 of the state's criminal procedure law. It was amended to allow the judge to set bail if a person was arrested repeatedly and reoffends and has caused physical injury. In Afet's case, it would have applied to the incident involving the 74-year-old.
What is distressing to me is that from 50 to 0 indicates that one of us was seriously wrong.
If Afet is convicted on this latest charge of first-degree murder, she could spend the rest of her life in prison without parole. Ira St. Moran, News Channel 9.
Afet is also facing a charge of first-degree burglary. She is due back in court next week.
Crazy, man. This shit is insane.
Well, we are learning more about the criminal.
Shit is insane, man. So, but I make these videos because I once crashed out. You know what I'm saying? And I understand the implications and the trail it leaves behind. Not only to this day, I was blessed enough to, pay my debt to society, I should say. I was blessed to pay my debt to society and to learn my lesson. I was blessed enough to do that. Probably to do this. But besides that, I understand how it feels to crash out. I once was a crash out. And I sympathize with these people that I bring on here because, you know, these people most of the times don't be crashing out for no real, you know, diamond heist, no real, shipments, 50 keys, something that's going to probably, it is petty stuff. Real petty. And it's sad, man. Now, I'm about to take y'all into an inside, some inside footage of the apartment complex. This is what it looked like inside of the apartment complex. And this is, I do believe, I don't want to, I don't really know. I didn't do the research on, the ins and outs of the apartment complex, but I do believe that is like a low income apartment building or something like that. So, and with these buildings, a lot of the times, they just are for, the profit. They not there to, make it like a good community, you know what I'm saying? Nah, they just basically there to bring you in and get your money, whatever kind of money that they worked out with their leasing agreements or whatever. That's it. So let's take a look into the apartment complex.
Smells like I heard. I'm gonna go all the way down. Just show you going up. Start from 5. That's 4.
No maintenance, no security. Stairwells are often used as bathrooms and places for people to shoot up. These are the type of conditions people are living in. Needles. Wow. The 13th floor building is owned by Tim Green and his son, Troy. They own 32 multi-family apartment complexes in 4 states. They not there to, clean and do all that to make it like a good living space, a good living environment. Nah. It's about the profit. And by looking at that, you can see now, just imagine you living there. Just imagine you living there and what kind of morale that you would have walking in those hallways and being around the type of people who are living in there. There's no positive, thinking. There's no, probably from some people, but majority of people are, where the drugs at? Where the parties at? All the low vibrational things, that can possibly get yourself injured or injuring somebody else. That type of living condition can bring you to a state of mind of, I'm gonna do what I have to do, and it's not positive. And this right here is the last video that we're gonna check out, and it's basically after the murder of the 93-year-old woman, Connie. Now they want to clean up the building and, bring in security and, do all these things where before, Before, nobody cared because it wasn't on national news.
Exclusive tonight, we're taking you inside an apartment complex that remains at the center of scrutiny in our community.
Look how clean it
is
is
now. The murder
now.
of 93-year-old retired teacher and world traveler Connie Tuori in her 12th floor apartment, revealing shocking violence and years of health and safety concerns at the Skyline Apartments on James Street in Syracuse. The city declaring that property unfit to live in 7 weeks ago. Tonight, CBS 5's Amanda Hall is on your side, revealing what she found when she was welcomed inside the Skyline to see if new security upgrades are working.
A transformation is now underway at Skyline, and it's evident as soon as you walk in the door. A newly hired security team, Alpha Security Bureau, now maintains a 24/7 presence. And if you live here, you now need a key fob.
If anything happens, we have information of who came in the building, what time, and what apartment. This is one of our safety measures that we use to make sure the tenants are safe, and the people that come in here are people who live here.
The woman accused in the murder of 93-year-old Connie Tuori did not live here. Investigators say Tuori was killed in her apartment in late February. In the 3 weeks before her body was discovered, her apartment was entered by a number of different people.
No one would ever want that to happen anywhere. Unfortunately, it did happen, and now we're responding to the best we can.
This explains a renewed focus on keeping outsiders out. Visitors need ID and are scanned into a new data system.
The tenant will have to come downstairs to verify that the visitor is actually the visitor who lives here. This is how we keep out the trespassers out of the building and maintain the building safe.
Tuori's murder took place on Skyline's 12th floor, a floor Syracuse's police chief calls the most dangerous, and the first place I asked the new security team to take me.
All called out this floor to be well known as a terrible floor in this place.
Correct.
What is your answer to that as a security guard who walks this?
Since we've been here and we've been working with Nate and everyone at the staff at Skyline, everything has gone down. Numbers do not lie. Numbers will let you know that the police calls are down.
Calls to police have continued to go down since April 5th, the day Alpha Security started at Skyline. The first week with security, there were 31 calls. The latest numbers from the Syracuse Police Department show 11 calls.
It's not a harbor floor. You know, we've been taking care of it. Are there still things to be done? Of course there is. It's not going to be an overnight success, but at least we're moving in the right direction.
In the 8 weeks since Connie Tuori's body was discovered, our CNY Central News team has filed more than 50 reports on her murder, living conditions at Skyline and other Green National-owned properties, and the community's housing crisis. We showed you how more than $1 million of your tax dollars are spent on Skyline in the form of rent assistance. City Hall called for change, and Troy Green.
See what I'm saying? I just said that. I didn't know that, but now it's confirmed. It's a public assistance building where these people are buying these buildings and getting government grants for these people to come in. So these people are getting paid, but at the same time, the public assistance make the rent low. So it's cool for these people to come in. They letting these people come in with with the public assistance for their rent to be low, but these people are making millions on top of that. And most of the times they not vetting the people if they or have mental illnesses or they have backgrounds or any these type of things. They just letting these people in and just letting this building just go crazy. They don't care as long as that million get cut and that in them checks they get paid every month, get put into their bank account. I don't care if that building get, do the wall on the wall, let them live in it. But as soon as somebody get murdered, a 93-year-old woman, and they make national news, now it's time to change. Let's go mopping. Let's go, scrape. Let's go, put some pond salt down. You should have been doing that. See, with these people, it's all about profit when it comes to the lower class people. They don't care about, you as a human being. They don't care about that. They just care about the money that they can get from you. And this is the things that needs to change in America. That is one thing. Is a ton of things, but this is one of them, man. It's crazy.
The building's owner tells me he's heard those calls. These photos from code enforcement show trash, drugs, needles, and human waste in the hallways and stairwells. We walked those same hallways, same stairwells, and found they're now cleaner, and trash cans appear on every other floor.
If any hallways that we go down the staircases and we see anything that's not supposed to be there, we take a note, what floor, is it the north side, the east side, the west side, and then we put that into management, and then management gets on it right away.
One of the only open code enforcement violations that is not complete is for the one broken elevator, which management showed us is actively getting worked on. While inside, I spoke with 3 current tenants, all saying they have seen improvements since Alpha arrived.
It's been cleaner, quieter, I would say that. You know, it's still got their little rough ends, but they working to clean it up.
Since security's been here and since the people that work here been here, it's been much safer.
It was just the people that was around, and now that they're keeping them away, it's a whole lot better.
The building's manager now saying that the last 2 months of...
See, and that's the thing, man. It's not everybody. It's not everybody. A lot of people who live in these conditions are trying to make their way to a better, you know, environment. But a lot of us don't have the resources to do so. So this is why we live in these type of places. But at the same time, everybody who live in these type of places don't have the same mentality. A lot of them want to live in safe communities and safe buildings. So that's why you see, like, man, I'm happy this is happening. It should have been happening. But it's also people who don't care about, you know, clean walls and, you know, taking your trash out and dumping it in the trash can. No, they want to take shits in the hallways and shoot up and piss all in the hallways and get drunk and throw up everywhere and don't care. We got to get rid of those. You got to get rid of those people. Get rid of them.
Scrutiny leave him committed to a safer, cleaner skyline.
We're not with that incident that happened with Connie. Well, in the future, we are going to continue this, okay? What you see now is not just a flash because we're in the news, we're in the press. This is what Skyline is. We are confident that people will see that change. The police hopefully will see that, the city will see that, the mayor will see that. And the people, most important part, the people will see that.
And Amanda Hull is with us live tonight. Her reporting in a new direction this evening with that focus on new security measures. Amanda.
That's all I'm going to show, man, because we done seen enough, man, you know. You can say all that on camera all you want to. Yeah, yeah, but where was that same energy before the lady died? So, with that being said, man, I just want to thank y'all for watching this video. And, you know, if you like the video, you know, you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Like it, thumbs up, share it with a friend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But until then, man, y'all stay safe. And make sure you watch your surroundings when you leave the house and when you going back in the house. Make sure you watching your surroundings. Peace.
Got that shit ate up coming through here, boy. Crashed out. Trying to get up out of here. Crashed out right here.